I've been running the same route for the past 4 years. Same shoes, same time, same streets, every single morning. Rain, shine, hangover, doesn't matter. My body needs it, especially since I sit at a desk for 9 hours a day doing UX for a defense contractor out in Dayton. I live in this neighborhood just outside the city. Older houses, big trees, that Midwest silence where you can hear dogs barking 5 blocks away. Pretty safe. At least it felt safe. Anyway, this all started 2 months ago, mid-January. I remember the date exactly because I was training for that stupid half marathon in March, and it was my first long run of the year. Cold as hell, around 19 degrees, and I was about 2 miles in when I saw him. At first I didn't think anything of it. Just a guy walking on the opposite side of the street, hunched over a bit, wearing this dark green coat that looked like it hadn't been washed in years. Nothing super weird about that. I live near a bus route and people wander, but something did stick out. He had a limp, subtle but definitely there. Left leg dragged just a little slower than the right. I passed him, nodded out of habit. He didn't nod back. No big deal. But then I saw him again, 2 days later. Same spot, same limp, different coat this time. Gray, stained looking, still didn't acknowledge me. Okay, weird, but fine. Then I started seeing him everywhere. Not right up close, not doing anything. Just out there. Always on the periphery, always walking. Sometimes at the corner of Jefferson and Pine. Sometimes by the old skate park near the underpass. He'd always have something in his hand. Sometimes a plastic grocery bag, sometimes a paper cup. Once it was a little notebook. But what really started getting under my skin was how he never looked at me, like, deliberately avoided it, even when we were 20 feet apart. Now look, I'm not paranoid by nature. I don't think everyone's out to get me, but I know when a pattern's forming, and this was a pattern. One day I mentioned it to my buddy Travis, who runs with me sometimes, told him about the guy. Travis laughed and said maybe he was just a lonely weirdo on a schedule, but he offered to join me on the next morning run anyway. We didn't see him that day, or the day after. Then Travis bailed, his kid got sick, so I was solo again by that Thursday. The next week I came home from a Saturday morning run and found something wedged under my windshield wiper. It was a folded piece of notebook paper, torn at the edges. On the inside, written in what looked like pencil, shaky, smudged handwriting, was a single sentence. You shouldn't run alone, no name, no signature. I laughed at first, like an actual laugh. I thought it was Travis pulling a dumb joke. I even texted him a photo and said, "Nice touch, man." But he replied right away, "Dude, that wasn't me." What the hell? I tried to shrug it off, but I couldn't. I started changing my routine, ran in the afternoon instead of the morning, took different routes, skipped entire days just to throw off whatever timing someone might have figured out. And for a while, it worked. But then, last week happened. It was a Tuesday. Warmer weather, almost spring-like. I got out late, around 7:30 p.m. Sun was already dipping. I stayed in the neighborhood this time, looping smaller streets near my block. Safer. More lights, more people around. Everything was normal, until I turned onto Maple Drive. There's a short stretch of sidewalk there, maybe a quarter mile with no houses. Just a bunch of old trees and an old church that's been empty for years. I was passing by the rusted chain-link fence when I heard footsteps, behind me. At first I thought it was an echo or another runner. Then the sound shifted. It was uneven. One step, shuffle, one step, shuffle. I knew that rhythm. I didn't look back right away, I just slowed down, pretended to adjust my watch and took a glance over my shoulder. He was maybe 30 feet behind me. No coat this time, just a dark hoodie, limping, staring straight at me, this time actually making eye contact for the first time in 2 months. I don't remember choosing to run, I just moved. Full sprint. Not a jog, not a power stride, I ran. I cut through backyards, hopped a fence, tore my hand on a nail, didn't care. Got home in maybe 5 minutes flat, heart hammering through my ribs. Locked the door, closed every curtain, stood in the kitchen holding a steak knife like I even knew how to use it. He didn't follow, at least not that I know of, that I know. But the next morning I found muddy footprints on my back deck. Just one set. One of them had a deeper impression on the left heel, like that foot had dragged slightly when it landed. I called the police again. This time they sent someone. Officer Harrelson, nice guy, late 40s, very calm, took my statement, looked at the footprints, even walked the perimeter. But of course, by then, the prints had faded. They filed it, told me to call if it escalated. That was 5 days ago. I haven't gone running since. I don't go outside after dark, I barely sleep. I started parking my car 2 blocks over just so I can't be tracked by routine. Because here's the part that keeps me up at night. That guy? He never touched me, never spoke, never broke the law. But somehow, he still found a way in. I don't know what he wants, or if he wants anything at all. Maybe it's nothing, maybe it's everything. But if you ever see a man with a limp on your route, don't make eye contact, don't wave, and whatever you do, don't let him know you've noticed. I don't usually talk about this, not because it's some big secret or because I'm trying to forget, though honestly I wish I could. It's more because any time I've tried to explain it, I can see people doing that thing with their face, that polite, slightly uncomfortable nod, like they're listening but they don't get it, like they're just waiting for me to say, and then it turned out it was all in my head. But it wasn't. This happened to me last year, late October. I was living in Oregon at the time, just outside Eugene. I'd just turned 29. I'd been laid off from a marketing job 2 months earlier, so I was doing freelance stuff, working from home, living in this small rental house near the edge of Ridgeline Park. Anyway, I'd gotten into jogging that summer. Not for weight loss or anything like that. It was just peace, quiet. You ever feel like your brain just won't shut up? Jogging helped with that. I'd go around 5:30 or 6, right before the sun dipped low. There's this trail off Ridgeway that's mostly dirt, a little gravel, lined with trees and brush, kind of hidden. You'd miss it if you didn't know it was there. But once you're on it, it's gorgeous, peaceful. That kind of eerie calm you get when nature feels like it's watching, but not in a creepy way, usually. That Thursday, it had rained earlier in the day, so the trail was soft, damp. The smell of wet pine and soil hit me the moment I stepped onto it. I had a hoodie on, earbuds in, music low. I always kept the volume low, just enough to hear the beat, but not so loud that I couldn't hear if someone came up behind me. I'd been jogging maybe 10 minutes when I saw him. Tall guy, mid-40s maybe. He was standing just off the trail in this narrow clearing between the trees. He wasn't doing anything, just standing there, looking toward the trail, toward me. He didn't wave, didn't nod, just watched. I looked back. Did that awkward half-smile joggers do, you know, that hey, I see you, we're both out here existing kind of thing, and kept going. But something felt wrong. He wasn't in running gear, not even hiking clothes. He was wearing jeans and a dark gray jacket, no bag, no water bottle, just standing there, way too still. I shook it off. I figured maybe he's just a local taking a break, or maybe he lives nearby and just stepped out for some air. A minute later I turned a bend, and my stomach dropped. He was there again. Not in the exact same spot, but ahead of me this time. Maybe 30 feet up, off the side of the trail, same stance, just watching. No phone, no dog, no bike, just standing. I stopped. Not fully. I pretended to stretch my calf against a rock, glanced up the trail again. He hadn't moved. Now I'm not naive. I know about situational awareness. I took self-defense classes in college. But part of what messes with your head in moments like that is the ambiguity. He hadn't done anything. Hadn't approached me, hadn't spoken. Was I supposed to accuse someone of being weird for existing in public? Still, something told me not to go forward. So I turned around, not in a panic, just a casual, okay, cool down time kind of pace. But the moment I rounded the bend again, my brain started sprinting. Did he follow me? Was he alone? Did I even see him up ahead, or was that someone else? I picked up my pace. I made it back to the trailhead in record time, hands on my hips, trying to act normal while my heart beat so loud I could feel it in my teeth. I didn't look behind me until I reached the parking area. Empty. My car was there. His, if he had one, wasn't. I drove home in silence. No music, just the sound of my wipers scraping across the windshield and that low-level buzz of adrenaline that never quite left. That should have been the end of it, but it wasn't. 3 days later, it was Sunday. I was bringing my trash cans to the curb around 9 p.m. It was already dark. My driveway didn't have a street light, so I had one of those motion sensor floodlights. I walked down the driveway, dragging the blue recycling bin behind me, and the light clicked on. And someone was at the edge of my yard, right where the fence dips low, standing completely still, just a silhouette. Could have been anyone, but I knew. I knew it was him. He didn't say anything, didn't move. I froze. I wanted to yell something, "Hey," or "What the hell?" But my throat locked up. You ever feel your voice just betray you? Then the light turned off. It was on a 30-second timer, I think. I ran back inside, locked the door, called the non-emergency line. A cop came by 20 minutes later, shined a flashlight around, said he didn't see anyone, told me to stay alert and give them a call if it happened again. That was it. I didn't sleep that night. I left the porch light on, checked the windows every hour. Nothing. But over the next week, little things started happening. My side gate, which I always latched, would be open in the morning. I started hearing crunches in the gravel behind the house around 2 or 3 a.m. Once I found footprints in the mud outside my kitchen window. Just one set. Deep, heavy. Like someone stood there for a long time. The cops didn't help. I filed 3 reports, bought a camera, cheap one from Amazon, pointed it at the backyard. A few nights later, it glitched, like full static for an hour straight. Then it worked fine the next day. I checked every night, nothing. Just black screen or wind in the trees, until the last night. It was November 9th. I woke up around 1:40 a.m. No noise, just this feeling, that sharp needle under the skin kind of fear you can't explain. I checked the camera feed on my phone, and for a second, just a second, I saw him, standing at the edge of the trees. Same jacket, same posture, just far enough that I couldn't see his face. Just watching the house. I called 911. This time, I didn't wait for them to say it was nothing. I demanded someone come now. When they got there, he was gone. Again. But you know what they found? A shoe print. Pressed into the soft earth beside my back steps. They logged it. Said they'd patrol the area. I told them I was leaving. And I did. I broke my lease, paid the penalty, packed my stuff and moved to my sister's place in Nevada for a while. I still jog, but only in daylight and never on trails. I still check the camera feeds from that house, even though no one lives there now. The landlord hasn't rented it out again, and sometimes I think, maybe it wasn't personal. Maybe he didn't know me. Maybe I was just a shape moving in the woods, a habit he noticed, a schedule he could follow. Maybe I was just convenient. But then again, maybe he's still out there, waiting for someone else to turn down that trail, someone who doesn't look behind them soon enough.